And I think that's the story going forward. We'll see if it's going to be reflected in their picks and bans as well. In just a moment, we're going to have difficulties happening right now, but we'll get there, and there we are.
All right, so first pick is going to go on the side of Noble. They played a very good game all throughout. The double Guardian coming out of Eager was a lot to handle for Noble, but in the meantime, they were still doing a good job in the mid game. Now, unfortunately for them, they were in control up until about the 16.5-minute mark when it was Eager, the ones that got the Gold Fury.
Right, and there was an experience lead as well, even early on as well. That's what we saw. Where did it all dissipate? Where did it go wrong?
It was just Eager constantly being able to find one pick and then finding an objective. Also, the fact that they were able to not only steal Gold Fury, but get that tier 2 mid tower around the 23-minute mark, that's where things really started going down south for Noble.
So Noble perhaps have to look more towards a composition that allows them to protect their objectives a little bit better.
Athena being banned away from Eager, not wanting to handle that. It was just, it was very easy for Eager to find these initiations with the Athena. So Noble, respecting that, just going to take that away. And they're going to first pick Scylla.
So the Scylla selected for Noble Esports will be going up against Team Eager. Honestly, if I'm Eager, I don't really mess with anything. I keep it simple. We will go with the Cabrakan on the side of Eager, but in general, which your soul laner can kind of come and go. I want to see the same general strategy come out from Eager. In all honesty,
Double Guardian.
Yeah, it worked very well before.
Yeah, I could see Double Guardian being good for Eager, especially with the Cabrakan in the solo lane. You want to be able to control the laning phase as early as possible. Now, Sobek is a different style of a solo laner. He'll control the lane as long as he has enough mana to use his lurking in the water, but he doesn't transition as early as a Cabrakan does, and that's what Eager now have in their arsenal.
So Sobek will be selected on the other side with the Hun Batz. So right away we see from Noble just a traditional composition based on a little bit of disruption, a little bit of displacement, a little bit of damage, just a nice big old spread out party. Team Eager on the other hand, Cabrakan, Susano, Chronos, these are flavorful gods. These are gods that they just want to win with. Delta Marine has a gnarly Chronos, so they're going to go ahead and give it to him. Cabrakan has some flex. Susano going to go for Jellly, the replacement in the jungle.
I like the idea that Eager had also picking up the Cabrakan and the Susano together, making sure that Susano can't get blocked out whenever he wants to retreat defensively. So the count, taking not only the really high mobility god in the jungle, but also taking away one of his counters.
Kumbhakarna. I love the way he says his name. Kumbhakarna will be the guardian of choice for Team Eager. He'll be going up against Bacchus. Those are two very... Yes, these are the gods where we're going to see them. Jing and Bacchus will be the long lane. We'll see the solo Sobek one more time. Team Eager will round out theirs with a Cupid.
I like this idea from Noble, picking up Bacchus and Jing. Once the Bacchus belly flops, you can find the gust from Jing on the ground, which would do quite a bit of damage follow-up. And Cupid for Eager, AirCougar have been known to play this Cupid style. And last time they played, in their first game, AirCougar found a solo kill onto Lou and consistently bullied him out of lane.
I mean, that's the thing that, you know, coming back to the whole, and it's one of those things where I don't want to actually ask Zapman and the guys on Eager because I love this idea of the PC and Xbox team sort of combining and having this cabal where, like, I love seeing how, because AirCougar in his own right is a very accomplished PC player. He was just never able to really find that team. We saw him play with DJ Pernicus a little bit. He was never really able to like find his footing and go to it. AirCougar really reminds me of a player like a Duro almost, where these guys just never really got the opportunity. Here in the console league, AirCougar is just absolutely crushing it. And so there's a little bit of what AirCougar has done by himself. And like I said, I like to think there's a little bit of conversation coming on from the other side of the Eager guys, which allow both of these teams to excel.
Being able to collab with a different platform, even though it's still the same game, you just bounce each other, bouncing ideas off of each other, especially if you do have multiple scrim partners. Let's say Eager PC have scrim partners and Eager Xbox have scrim partners, then you're getting 4 mindsets into one. So that makes everybody just that much stronger.
I mean, we saw how powerful it was when Cog Red and Cog Prime were the sister teams, and they were just able to play against each other, scrim against each other, and then share mentalities and share ideas. And those guys were competing against each other. Eager, these guys never have to go head-to-head. You've got 5 different players. You know, in a perfect world, I would love to see these guys be scrim partners.
That would be very interesting.
I think that would be so much fun.
Just have them all play under the same. So it would be Eager PC playing with their PC parts, and then Xbox playing on the PC but using controllers.
Using controllers, right?
That would be awesome.
I think like that would be that's a lot of fun because
That'd be
then
a great show match.
Because then you could have this deep. All of the secrets are on the board. You don't have to like hide things in scrims like you do because you want to save them for LAN. Everything is on the board, and you can just see how easily things work or they don't. So I think Eager is working towards a very successful game plan.
Dual lane, a lot of poke being traded, Shell being procced early on. AirCougar's Heart Bomb is coming up relatively soon. Gonna look for the aggressive dash and connects onto the Bacchus. Finds the stun and the rune. Might be a first blood.
Oh, it's going to be it. Grattywind just barely avoiding it. Can't find it. He jumps away, and it looks like the Kumbhakarna in some trouble. One more shot, and xxLOU takes out gustavY for the first blood on the side of Noble.
I like the idea. Unfortunately, high risk, high reward did not pan out for the Kumbhakarna. Now, AirCougar is going to be in a little bit of an interesting situation because he's getting solo experience and gold. So that's a plus, at least, despite losing your support. However, giving first blood to the enemy ADC, now AirCougar is going to be down about 350 gold.
It's going to be rough. It'll be a little bit problematic, but we'll see how it works out, especially with throwing dagger. Hunters are never really in too much trouble. They generally have the clear available to them. Grattywind half HP already. AirCougar not paying attention, or at least paying attention to the wave as he should. Dash in and you try to attack that support, you're dead.
Just making sure that there's nothing too crazy going on.
Yep.
Looks like Jellly was thinking about rotating left, but just going to go back into the mid lane. Yo-Yo was maybe trying to set up a pluck, but not going to find it under the tier 1 tower. There's still 3 archers on the solo lane, so that's something you always have to respect in the solo lane whenever you have the archer disadvantage.
Yep. Yeah, they deal so much damage, and you can see both of our solo laners actually have the Mark of the Vanguard, and that should help out just a little bit, but definitely something on the mind.
Dwurst might be in a little bit of trouble. Gonna try to find a counter ultimate onto Yo-Yo. Just gonna absorb the full lurking in the water and reset, as we do have a rotation coming underneath.
A little bit, yeah, here comes a monkey, but spotted out by Jellly, who will dash away.
Meanwhile, Delta Marine just farming up those Fire Giant Imps. Scylla was thinking about rotating, just going to elect to get those back rights on her own and clear out the mid wave. Kind of taking this away from the Hunbats will hurt him in the long run.
A little bit. Oh, the Hunbats, for me, I mean, Hunbats is just get to level 5, dude. After level 5, I don't really care. He doesn't bring this. You got to cross your fingers and get lucky to get the burst or the crits. He's just not this true assassin in my eyes. He's more about the slow from the jump, and obviously the ultimate really being what he brings to the table. So when it comes to Hunbats falling behind, I'm less concerned about that than I am with other gods like Naja.
Especially if you're giving up your farm for a Scylla in the mid lane. So that's going to allow maybe a potential kill onto the Chronos before the rewind does go off. Shame eating a little bit of poke. Nice root. No crush follow.
Oh,
LOU going to be in trouble. Another solo kill from AirCougar onto LOU. Second game onto LOU.
Yeah, I mean, LOU is a great hunter in his own right, but AirCougar has really, I think, solidified himself as the go-to hunter on the console. I think that there are a lot of strong hunters. You can look at Transonics, the Xbox native. You can look at even Zaxi. But what we're able to see out of AirCougar is just incredible.
You have to be so careful about these boxing fights. However, Supra caught in a little bit of an awkward position. Going to use the Sentinel away. Taken up to the sky, gustavY dashing away from the crush. Just going to reset. So trading off this ultimate, doing a little bit of poke in the process. Not really much to lose there.
Really funny stuff coming out from gustavY. So he blinks over the wall at the exact time the last tick of the Bacchus belch stuns. If that is 0.5 seconds sooner or later, that is a completely different fight. You see a double kill. But because he goes in right at the precise moment when the belch ends, 2 stuns, it separates everybody, and they're not really able to make anything come of it.
And the beauty of that was Supra recognized that and held onto the purification as long as possible. Engagement onto the duo. Shame not connecting onto the overhand smash, but does connect onto the slow, trying to body block. Could have body blocked a little bit more efficiently on that last heart, trying to make sure that AirCougar would go to the side instead of moving straight into the tower.
But instead, just barely gets it out. So our Hunter will live to see another day, 1-0-0, as he finishes up his golden bow and boots 2 and exits out the base.
Looks like Dwurst has a blue buff and Yo-Yo does not. I'm not sure if Dwurst stole it earlier on or if it just faded away from Yo-Yo in this position.
Either way, Yo-Yo on the Sobek. Ooh, that was unfortunate. Yo-Yo on the Sobek, not your #1 god that needs the blue buff. Ultimate is pretty simple.
That's definitely true. And Cabrakan with a very comfortable, just a little bit of a lead. However, he did not invest into the purple pot to begin with. So he's in a good spot where he can easily make these rotations and not have to really worry about giving up too much farm in the solo lane. Lou still getting bullied out in the Hunter position.
Wow, even still finding himself sitting on his back tower, sitting on his toes, just waiting. AirCougar is just being ruthless.
The thing is, though, for any Hunter to be behind and to be bullied, you're not really too worried of a Jing getting bullied because you'll get back to lane no problem. You're not going to lose any gold or experience.
There's the everything tossed away of Bacchus. Grattywind in some serious trouble. And he's going to be slapped down by Dwurst rotation for the solo lane, all the way into mid. Ultimate to prevent Scylla from finding her way home. She's going to pop up for the movement and will be off the mark with the ultimate. Cabrakan will be on the mark as Shame falls down and pop, too late. And yoyoabc tries to get greedy with damage and does not get the kill onto Susano.
Interesting interaction between the Ama Monster and the Cabrakan ultimate, not allowing the Scylla to position herself to follow up off of the Fear No Evil. Meanwhile, yoyoabc caught in a really awkward position with a Heart Bomb, gonna be slowed, and Dwurst gonna confirm the kill. So 2-for-0 trade so far in the favor of Eager.
So Team Eager right now, they win that team fight, and that's going to put them up a little bit as well as far as the overall goal is concerned. Just about 700. Nothing too strong to write home about, but it is very early in this game. 7.5 on the clock. So Team Eager looking to find their first small lead. At the moment, as I said, 700 gold, but the 1,500 experience is cute.
And that's mostly, I believe, onto the Hunter, I would say.
Solo and Hunter, yep.
As the Jing just now hits level 10, as 1 level advantage for Dwurst. With that rotation, finding the kill was very important. Then yoyoabc not being able to capitalize on that farm because he's dead is just going to allow Dwurst to get even further ahead. Now building into that Pestilence closer than the Sobek will.
Yeah, I mean, basically everybody on Team Eager is a half a level ahead of their direct opposition across the board for Noble Esports. Good pull, good hit. Can't find the last basic onto Jing. Jellly finally does. And the aggression pays off.
Knocked up into the sky, gonna jump away is Shame now under the tier 2 tower. Eager have complete control, and after they clear this mid wave, they can easily either force a gold fear or force down this tier 1 tower.
I think it's gonna be the tier 1 tower more than the gold. Gold fear is usually where we see these players go, and it looks like they're gonna slink into the jungle, but just looking at the presence they had in that mid lane, I would have liked to see them just take it.
They could have potentially grouped up. However, AirCougar did start the red buff coming back from base, so more than likely just wanting to find the farm as often as possible. Looking at their warding around the Gold Fury as well. Before the last game, they had like really good triangular defensive warding, but now as their Gold Fury ward has just fizzled away, they are all over the place.
Ooh, well, this is trouble for Lou, who's going to give trouble to AirCougar over here. Not able to find the basics. But Lou comes up with a lot more HP than AirCougar.
Ultimates were traded from the Hunters, but AirCougar does have red buff, so you have to be very careful about that. There is a little bit of a lifesteal from Jing just being able to constantly back and go back into the base, favoring her in that regard. And now with the Bacchus sitting in the left lane, AirCougar having to play a little bit more careful, but Eager might make a play in the mid lane.
On the solo lane, we're going to see a play as well. Yo-Yo off the mark on the dash. So Sobek will live to walk around, and Cabrakan will make the rotation to mid, so Sobek will follow suit.
Shame taking a lot of poke in the mid lane, so he has to more than likely back, and that could give Eager a window of opportunity to force something. But not electing to group up. The Humbat's taking the back rights, and Eager just content with farming.
Yeah, not just a huge lead just yet, totally. About 1,000 gold on the side of Team Eager. What gold level do you start to feel comfortable really forcing objectives?
So at the 10-minute mark, about 3,000 to 4,000 gold is very comfortable.
Right.
You can still, as long as you have a player advantage, you can always force something. As long as you're not the one that's too far behind. Both solo laners kind of trolling each other.
I love the solo matchups because solo lane is so much about the mind and so much about like the types of players fit very, very well. We were sitting here trying to compare them to like traditional sports positions. I mean, you're a solo laner by trade. What can you tell us about like sort of the inner thoughts of a solo laner, totally?
Just to be as annoying as possible. You just never let anyone back ever. It's about I respect you, but I don't respect you at the same time kind of deal.
It's a mental dominance game, really.
Mid lane,
it's always fun to watch.
Both teams just kind of trying to feel each other out after that first game. They're slowing it down the pace very heavily as there might be an engagement onto Grattywind. He still has his belly flop. Going to engage very aggressively as Shame comes around the corner. Amamatsu connects onto Marine, resetting it.
And he doesn't find a target with the second one. Instead, the root and the crush takes gustavY down all to but nothing. He's in some trouble now. Finds him in the sleepy. And a different story underneath the tower as the aggression from Cabrakan keeps piling on. yoyoabc gets credit for killing gustavY. There's a jump from Grattywind over the wall. But it looks like Cabrakan should be fine.
Noble needs to utilize this two-player advantage somehow as they're kind of chased this Cabrakan instead of grouping up either at the Golfier or in the mid lane. Having this two-player advantage for about 15 to 20 seconds, you could utilize that very quickly at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes to. That's where you see the fantastic teams really separate themselves from the average or just the good teams is how small of that window. How small of a window can you force yourself through? 20 seconds, 15 seconds, that's really what you want to see your favorite teams look for, is those tiny windows of opportunity be twisted into something huge.
Scylla grabbing her red buff. AirCougar's going to back for Eager. There's not much wards now on the side of Eager. They had a really good formation of wards around the Golfier, but now with Noble countering that, that's something that Eager have to respond to.
There's a jump forward from Shame. Not going to find really a target. Oh, but finally the pluck from Yo-Yo is able to land.
Though. Just not having the mana pool available to continue the aggression. Looking at the teleport situation, both of theirs are down relatively close with Yo-Yo having the 10-second advantage.
Bacchus now on Grattywind. Everybody's been going this Mark of the Vanguard second item, we'll say. The third, right? You buy your Watcher's Gift, your boots, and your Mark of the Vanguard. So powerful, and it's just a fantastic bridge item. We see the cooldown reduction coming out from Kumbhakarna instead. What are the two different mentalities here for the different supports?
So for Kumbhakarna, you're just trying to constantly CC people with the Breastplate of Valor and do a lot of damage with the Shoes of the Magi with a Wombo combo on your ultimate. Meanwhile, on the Bacchus side of things, having this Mark of the Vanguard, there is a little bit of damage over time on the side of Eager with the Tremors and the Jetstream from Susano. So you're trying to mitigate that. Also having the HP 5 with the Traveler Shoes and the Sovereignty should favor the Bacchus in the long run.
Cupid's going to favor himself in the mid-Harpies. He's going to drop the ultimate, but an Intoxicate coming out from Grattywind sends the HP bar in the opposite direction. Grattywind's going to play it safe on the south side with the rest of his team, Noble Esports, as they try to make their rotation, but nobody can really decide on a target. Do they want Cupid? Do they want Susano? Do they want Chronos? And because of that, they're in some trouble here, but Super O comes around the corner and finds the ult.
Beautiful ulti now connecting yet again onto Dwurst, but Dwurst might be able to find Grattywind. He does, so that's a 1-for-1 trade taken up into the sky with a crush. gustavY is the second victim to fall for Eager.
And still, the damage being dished out. One pluck from the Sobek, and that's the Sanctuary Pop, very important.
The crush not able to connect onto AirCougar as he just dashes right through that. So 2-for-1 in the favor of Noble as the Sobek does back, having the teleport, so just going to back right in front of the face of Eager trying to make something else happen as Dwurst does teleport also on the left-hand side, maybe catching Lou out of position.
Yeah, this is Dwurst trying to make the big play right here. Going to go on yoyoabc, stun, and there's a lot of damage coming out from the Cabrakan, and Jellly cleans it up, 2-1-2 on the jungler. 7 kills in total for Team Eager.
I love the bait in that position. Just here, pluck me.
Yep.
I dare you.
Yep, just come and get it. Come and get it.
Instantly turned on.
And that's what the Gold Fury is saying to Eager. Come and get it. Right now, the teams are even. Noble Esports show up. Lose here.
Gets pulled by Susano. Jellly doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Grattywind trying to set himself up for a really good Intoxicate. The root comes out from Scylla. Crush just being held onto for now, though. Grattywind falling first victim already now. And this is something that we can see the difference between Eager and Noble Esports. They had a 1-player advantage and they forced Gold Fury.
Exactly.
And when Noble had a 2-player advantage, they didn't force anything.
Yeah, Eager, like I said, try to find those small windows of opportunity. That's the small window of opportunity that Eager wants to find. The small numbers advantage allows them to go ahead and pick up Gold Fury, puts them 2,000 gold in the lead, and even now, still looking for kills.
Shame tried to steal the Gold Fury with Fear No Evil. Unfortunately, it was barely mistimed, and Eager controlling the pace of the game a little bit off of that Gold Fury around the 15-minute mark. And the fact that Eager is a little bit low, Noble might be able to take advantage of this. It's only yoyoabc, however, peeking around the corner on the speed buff. Charge praying 1, no one behind him, however.
No one anywhere near him.
He's just buying time to allow the rest of his teammates to steal this red buff, so good mindset. Throwing yourself into 4 players, a little risky, but when you survive and you're stopping people from banking and you're stealing the enemy red buff, not too bad.
Yeah, not even too many items as we're pretty early in this one. He's just got basically Bulwark and a Mark of the Vanguard. It's really nothing to be too excited about being unkillable.
You do have a little bit of that shield bubble to pop once you do get a little low.
That's
so
fair.
Playing with fire or playing with water, I guess Sobek is.
A little bit of both. Left side heart B. Notice I didn't say heart Bs. There's only one there.
Ah.
That's going to mess up the timer. So when buffs spawn and buffs respawn, sometimes you'll see players. GrattyWind's in some trouble here. Sometimes you'll see players. Oh, the double heart bomb.
I mean, in that position, with the dash being down onto Jellly, there's no real potential engage, especially with his pull being down. So the fact that Subra ate that damage and the stun, not the worst case in the world. Could have been worse.
Everything could have always been worse. Trust me. Could have always been worse. But for right now, it's going to be okay. Team Eager leading by 9 kills, or leading by 4 kills rather. 9 to Noble's 5. About 2,000 gold as well. yoyoabc being aggressed on by Dwurst and his jungler Jellly. But Shame is here as well. It's a 2-on-2. Right now HP on the side of Noble, but here comes Grattywind. Not going to find the bump on top of the support or Cabrakan. And so that'll send everybody packing. Different story for Shame. Very low as Kumbhakarna shows up, and Jellly gets credit for Shame. Jelly's going to have to get out of here. gustavY knocks one to the sky, and it won't be enough.
And with that, going to be able to steal the speed buff as well. So taking this little objective off of the pick, also forcing out the relics, and now Eager are going to be able to continue the siege. Eager, AirCougar coming from the backhand side.
That's a fantastic play, a great sanctuary, but it just might not be enough to save the life of Super O. This time around, Cougar finds him, dashes right on in, and gets the kill onto the mid laner. Dwurst as well, going to be here. Focusing onto the tower is Team Eager, and they're going to keep pushing down this lane.
And the beautiful call that AirCougar did there, after the kill onto the Scylla, stayed on the tower, throws the hearts, and more than likely in that position, when you're in the backline, you can see what everything, you're basically the general in that position, and you're making the calls. So he called for the team like, hey, back off, let's get this tower, and then we'll extend. Don't chase into the tier 2, reset. And now Eager are going to try to get this tier 1 in the mid lane while the Scylla is still dead for about 10 seconds.
Shame's going to be here playing defense. He has the ultimate available. He drops it right away, and it's going to send everybody in the opposite direction. Team Eager have 5 players here. They're all ready to bang. Here comes the ultimate. There it is. Jellly finds the capitalization off of the Cabrakan, and that's going to be a big play coming out from Team Eager. Just pounded on the ground is Bracken, and it allows everybody to walk away. And Team Eager, they still don't get the tower, but they do half of the damage to it.
Oh, the triple root into the triple crush into the Jing Wei knockup. So so much damage, but Eager barely able to escape with the dash, using the Intoxicate in frustration as gustavY just walks away anyway.
That one's gotta hurt for Noble if you're Noble or a Noble fan. Everything they wanted to happen happened. They got everything right, Tolly.
They just didn't have enough damage.
They didn't have the pod luck. They didn't have the pod luck.
I forgot about the pon luck.
Eager has the pod luck. Everybody gets out with 1 HP, and now the turnaround is devastating.
Just a little bit more aggression from Eager as Yo-Yo plucks Dwurst into the tower. As Scylla doesn't want anything to do with Dwurst. He's like, all right, I'm just going to walk away. I don't want to get bullied by this monster.
Doesn't want anything to do with it whatsoever. Oh man, so much damage coming out from Super O, but it's just not enough. You can see him number 2 on the player damage, number 1 for his team overall. The solo laners, you always got to remove some of that damage. Shame just looking for the individual kills, chasing out the ults. And look, like you said, man, I'm feeling a little bit of frustration after that exchange, because that one just, I'm the unbiased commentator, and that hurt me.
That would have opened the door for Noble to get back into this game. Eager a little bit ahead currently, just about 3,500 gold, not too much, but it's going to be enough for them to start up the Gold Fury currently because of the fact that they have the sustain coming out of the Cupid. They have the buffs available to them as well. Yep. They have the speed on Jellly, red on AirCougar, trying to force this.
I mean, that's not the exchange that gets Noble back in the game. That's the exchange that gives Noble the lead. That's rough. Noble now has to find the mental fortitude to really fight through that. Gold Fury half HP. There are a bunch of members here in Noble jerseys ready to fight it off. And Team Eager's going to drop the Cupid ultimate. Nobody's stuck in it. Great play, great movement.
Typhoon being used by Susano. Eager going to reset. They took a lot of poke during that little encounter. Dwurst was engaging, getting bullied out by Super in the beginning of that team fight, and the rest of Noble just destroyed Eager. So Gold Fury, however, Eager's still going to try it.
They're going to go for it. Coming around the back is Grattywind and the Sobek. Not going to find it. There's the knockup, Intoxicate on 3. Great play coming out from the support, but nobody's there to follow up. The Sobek is not going to deal the damage. Shame comes, but a little bit too late. Can't find the damage onto the right targets. Rewind from Chronos. Ready, set, go.
And with that, every single member still alive. gustavY very low. He had to back very soon as Dwurst is going to be able to help Jellly get the kill onto yoyoabc, and AirCougar is like, all right, Gold Fury time again, boys. Here's some hearts.
And I love the way the Team Eager goes. As soon as the fight's not even over, but you can see the writing on the wall, AirCougar goes right to the objective. Maybe it'll work, maybe he has to leash it again, but that moment that it works, that's exactly what he's looking for. And then immediately, Team Eager right into the mid lane.
Forcing the Sanctuary out of Lou, gonna use the ultimate, barely able to escape that encounter. Shame gonna jump in. Wave is gonna be cleared. Eager is very content with just taking their win in the Gold Fury and now extending it to a tier 1 on the left-hand side. Beautiful recognition from AirCougar.
Yeah, just the ability to understand that you don't need every member of the team there to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. AirCougar can go ahead and have the map vision to take out a tier 1 tower by his lonesome.
Shame, very low, doesn't have much mana, but does have speed buff, whereas Jellly does not, so not going to be able to chase that under the tier 2 tower. It was able to successfully steal the blue buff, so yet again, Eager taking a small objective away from Noble.
That's been the story of not just this game, but this set. We've seen it just one here, one there, one here, one there. A little bit of a jungle invade, a pick-off. A little bit of a gank, a pick-off. A little bit of a gold fury this time, right? Just death by 1,000 cuts, as an old friend would say. And that's exactly what we're seeing out of Team Eager being able to stand on top of Noble. Now, with that said, it's only about 4,000, 5,000 separated. Noble can definitely get in this one team fight into a Gold Fury, one team fight into a Fire Giant and a push. This is an even game one more time.
If that team fight in the mid lane occurs at level 20 with full items for Noble with the triple Scylla root crush combination with Jing knockup as well, the damage from Noble at that point in time would be enough to secure all those 3 members from Eager. So the game lives on up until the late game.
And right now, Team Eager is trying to make sure it ends before all that. Tier 1 tower in the middle lane going to be toppled. This Team Eager takes credit for it.
AirCougar just trying to box any which way he can because he knows he has the sustain from the hearts, utilizing that to his fullest advantage. Level 19 has every single ability minus his ultimate maxed out at this point. Dashing away from Yo-Yo's charge player as well. Just good recognition. Eager trying to bait out Noble around this goal here. They have the vision. They're not going to force Fire Giant. They're just trying to get somebody here.
And it's going to happen right here. The pull onto the Bacchus is not going to be good enough. But they're still going to give chase. Grattywind jumps away. Here comes Cupid dashing forward. Ultimate from Kumba. Down he comes, but Shame waiting on the bottom. Cupid's going to drop his Hearts of Fields of Love in response. And there's still a lot of damage going on the right side of this fight. Left side of the fight, however, a little bit more passive. Scylla didn't really get out what she wanted to.
Just 2 for 2 ultimates. Sobek and Batz for the Kumbhakarna and the Cupid. And with the Kumbhakarna having the cooldown, is definitely going to favor Eager in this position.
gustavY. He's just looking to mess up with the Sobek. I don't think he's really looking for the kill on the Sobek anytime soon.
Pop in the meditation, just going to extend the team fight. AirCougar, meanwhile, losing the exchange, but those hearts are going to keep him topped off yet again.
gustavY now again leading the charge with Cabrakan on the left side. He's going to not get a stun. Well played by the enemy.
Trying to make something happen. Speed buff does fall. Dwurst getting pulled, and he might be in a little bit of trouble.
He has to run around the mulberry bush, but he will make it all the way around the long way to the left side. He gets met up with Grattywind, but as soon as he gets there, Grattywind gets stunned, so good for him.
Noble trying to play aggressive as Grattywind's going to find the flop onto gustavY, but Charge Play does not connect. Beautiful dash to escape the crush as the Fear No Evil on the backhand side onto Dwurst. Alma Monster trying to be very patient, connects onto Jellly, and yoyoabc might be able to chase this down, forcing the defensive ulti.
Nice dash, and that's going to allow ABC to take out Jellly very, very, very quickly. There's a bounce up, another bounce up, Grattywind in some trouble, an ultimate from Cupid that everybody will disperse from. Ultimate out of lurking in the waters, trying to wait until the sanctuary's gone. It is tail whip. He's rooted, but he gets the kill. AirCougar falls down to yoyoabc, and Sobek gets the kill. 3-3-2 for the solo back.
So 2-0 exchange in the favor of Noble. Now they're going to put pressure onto this tier 2 mid tower, and this could be potentially a Phoenix, but they're going to play a little bit more safe, just trying to strip away the jungle from Eager, because they've already lost enough of their own jungle earlier on in the game that they want to be able to catch up gold-wise.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching Noble really just come right back up. We saw that, and I said 4,000 or 5,000 gold, you can fight into it, you win a team fight, you get a couple of jungle objectives, and you're right back into the game. 1,400 these teams are separated out by. It's going to be 1,500 for this tier 2, and it looks like Noble Esports will want nothing to do with it. They're going to take what they've gotten and go ahead and buy up. Very intelligent decision. Eager got there by small objectives time and time again. No reason for Noble to think that they need to take it all back in one big swing.
It's interesting, though, because with the Fire Giant exposed with a 2-player advantage, Eager more than likely would have potentially started that Fire Giant. Yeah. Because, the thing about Eager is they have the sustain from Cupid, which they're constantly utilizing, whereas Noble doesn't have that same luxury. And yet again, Eager trying to utilize just their sheer pressure, trying to force Noble out of position. And there's nobody even close yet.
Sobek's close, 50% on the gold fear. He's got to get right on in there, lurking in the waters, and everybody goes away. Well played, Yo-Yo.
That's all you needed to do.
Well played, yoyoabc. And I love what Noble Esports does right there. So that's all you need to, like you said, that's all you need to do. You could send 5 players there from Noble, and Team Eager are going to try and win that team fight. All you do, you send a single player lurking in the waters. Everybody walks away. No need to put your entire team on the line. If you get wiped, almost game, right? So just played it very carefully. Only what you needed. I am loving this Noble team today.
I like this little team fight around, just trying to do a little bit of a footsies around the corner, trying to catch somebody out of position. Yo-Yo can find the plug. However, it's going to be Jellly that finds the pull onto Grattywind, just taking a little bit of poke, forcing out the belly flop defensively.
So that's going to take one of the tools off of Grattywind's table here. True shame, though. All the way in the mid lane.
Yo-Yo just going to disengage, not wanting to get bullied out. Dwurst playing very aggressively. Eager's still looking to play very aggressively as well. Grattywind going to force out the engage. Fear No Evil and the Cupid ulti. I'm a monster waiting for the target, but he's going to die before it even goes off.
Yeah, he doesn't even get to use I'm a monster as gustavY takes out Supra. And now Team Eager being aggressive. Yo-Yo gets stunned. Yo-Yo gets stuck. Yo-Yo gets burned. AirCougar on the top side of the kill onto the Sobek. And Grattywind has nothing but his name left. He'll be chased out of the fight as well. Gold Fury still stands. Team Eager pushes into the mid lane. Looks like they're more concerned about the Fire Giant.
They have a 2-player advantage, and they have the sustain. Why not force this objective? Force more members of Noble to flood in one by one, constantly pick them off. AirCougar gonna get knocked up by the Fire Giant.
Yep. Just gotta be careful about that. 50% on the objective. Jingwei is here. Jingwei's in trouble. And there's a Sanctuary from Lou. Grattywind shows up as well, and Jingwei is no longer here. Shame gets a kill on the Jellly, which is actually a very, very big deal. Not having that Susano was a lot of the initiation, but the Ultramarine shuts down Shame very quickly.
Trading 1-for-1 with that position. Now Eager, instead of going for the Fire Giant, more than likely going to take the safer play now with his tier 2 tower. They do have an Archer and another wave right behind it.
So many, many minions waiting. Just come ready for Noble Esports' tower. Good
Yo-yo
flip.
Finds the pluck, however, could get potentially turned on without having this escape, but the attention from Eager is just to be disengaging, as AirCougar and Delta Marine were kind of isolated from that team fight.
Yeah, they couldn't really join the squad. If they take the shortcut, then they're just going to die. If they take the long way, not there relevant enough. Dwurst in some trouble underneath the lurking in the waters. Sobek going to just barely tickle him. Very tanky is that Cabrakan with 9 stacks on his Heart of the Urchin. Definitely something that you got to think about before you go running at the big guy.
Jellly teleporting into the Fire Giant, more than likely going to be looking for a flank potential either onto Lou or the Scylla. The root not connecting onto Jellly as he does get spotted, and now Lou going to try to disengage, but he might be in trouble. His Sanctuary is down.
And so is his life. yoyoabc spills as well. Grab onto Grattywind as Jellly grabs him out. There's a jump away, and there's the teleport right on to him if he wants. Gonna let it wait out. And the Bacchus will waddle away. Shade will jump away. And everybody generally safe for the SPL.
It's one of those gods, Susano, that you can't really get away from with his abilities, with his passive. The way it works is every single ability that's on cooldown, you get that extra mobility, unless you're a Giannis to get through a wall.
Exactly.
That's your only real way.
Gotta find that fancy stuff, and throwing out the fancy stuff to avoid any sort of CC is gonna be the mid-mage when Super O gets pushed out. Well, AirCougar actually takes out Shame. And there's that tier 2 tower going down on the right-hand side. So Noble made a fight. They put something up, and it looked like they might have been able to turn things around. But for now, still trailing 5,000.
So Dwurst absorbed that full Alma Monster. Level 19, unfortunately, for Supra. But looking at the items for the Cabrakan, having the Pestilence, the fully stacked Height of the Urchin, and the Bulwark of Hope allowed him to survive that very easily.
I love Eager right here is doing a lot of fun stuff. They're not getting too aggressive by going for these Phoenixes, just clearing all the towers off the board. Now they're going to start the Gold Fury here. I imagine Noble will force them to retreat.
Well, 2 members already are backing from Eager, so they weren't heavily invested into this Gold Fury to begin with. They're more content with Noble maybe to force this Gold Fury and then allowing Eager to be the ones to finally counter-aggress, which would be very scary for Noble because if Eager's already winning on the aggression, the counter-aggression from Eager is going to be that much better.
Both ways is really where these teams can aggress from, whether it's offensively or defensively. The Scylla has been very powerful, but Team Eager has noted that, and they've been focusing on the mid laner for absolutely sure.
Eager coming back from base, buying a lot of items in hand. Blink forcing the ultimate from yoyoabc. The root and the crush just off the mark. yoyoabc taking a lot of damage, getting knocked up by the Typhoon, and he's going to be the first victim. And
here comes Grattywind. He'll get stunned from a Cupid heart bomb. That's a little problematic. But it's a 5-on-4 here, folks. 5-on-4.5 if you get the tower, I suppose.
Shame is going to have to do something miraculous coming from the side. He doesn't get spotted yet, but he's waiting such a long time. Does get spotted by a ward. Eager can easily react to this.
Ultimate.
But just
Ultimate.
Do it.
Ultimate. Drops the ult.
There we go.
Scylla's going to find 1. Scylla needs to find 2. But she cannot. Only finds 1 with the ultimate, and then AirCougar makes her pay for it. Super O take a seat. Grattywind in some trouble, in a lot of trouble as he's locked in when he jumps over the locks. Now Shame, the one in trouble. Susano going to teleport to him.
That's it.
Wonderful play by Jellly, and that's a kill on a Shame as well. 3 players down for the count on the side of Noble.
3 for 1 currently. AirCougar contemplating whether or not he really wants to be able to push this Phoenix, but more than likely after clearing the wave, just going to back and reset, get this Gold Fury for free. That's going to extend Eager's gold lead that much further. They're currently up 8.7k gold. They're going to be about 11,000 after this Gold Fury.
Halfway down, no one here. Gold Fury, absolutely free, free, free. And as you said, this one goes to Eager, puts them in the 5-digit column, 10,300 something. Well played.
Very comfortable lead. At this point in the game, 34, coming up the 35-minute mark. They have to start forcing the Fire Giant, utilize their goal lead with some good sentries, and utilizing their initiation between Jellly being able to pull somebody out of position, or Dwurst being able to lock somebody down into his ultimate, or just having gustavY just being able to knock somebody up in the air and wait for somebody else to follow up, maybe with Marine, you know, time stop, time rev, doing a lot of follow-up damage. Eager's arsenal is at just so much strength right now.
And this is exactly where Eager want to be. The kills is really just, that kind of blows me away. 9-22 at the moment.
It's going to be engaged onto the speed buff. The target is going to be Grattywind. A lot of cooldowns were used onto him, but looks like he's going to survive still for now, baiting a lot still. Meanwhile, Cupid going to force out the Sanctuary out of Luke. Grattywind finally does fall. Marine forced to use the Sanctuary. Can he get off his rewind in time, though?
Yeah, he'll be absolutely fine and dandy out of there, no problem. He can see Sobek coming to join the party, but a little bit too little too late.
So with that one-man advantage, Eager are going to be forcing the Fire Giant. It is up to Noble to find a way to stop it, but Eager are just nice dash from Yo-Yo, barely avoiding that Cabrakan ult.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dead croc if he gets stuck in there. Lucky for him, he chooses not to. Plays very well. Team Eager now starting the Fire Giant.
Mez onto Lou, triple root, triple crush, Jellly forced to fall now. So this is what we were talking about before. Super, and I'm a monster, not able to hit AirCougar. Gonna get knocked up into the sky though.
And the root is gonna be strong, but Super able to dash away. And his root's strong, and the Sobek's gonna push him even further away. So nobody gets a look at gustavY so far, or nobody gets a look at his teammate today.
So at the end of the day, Noble are successful in terms of defending the Fire Giant. Now the question is, can they capitalize on this little aggression coming out of Eager? They're a little bit out of position currently, but not going to elect to group up. Just going to play very careful. Wait for Eager to be the ones to force the Fire Giant yet again, and then find somebody.
So Team Eager here, you just broke down exactly what they want to do. What about Noble on the other side? How are Noble thinking?
They need to coordinate the Fear No Evil, I'm a Monster combination. Just that would be the winning factor for Noble. To find the triple root crush combination, a lot of damage from Humbats in the late game as well. So that's the winning factor for Noble.
AirCougar gets stunned out. I don't think there's any world where Bacchus beats AirCougar one-on-one.
Not a Guardian Bacchus, but a jungle or a solo Bacchus that actually builds mage items is going to do insane amount of damage. You ever see that Jing video?
Of course.
Onto Jervy?
Yep, of course.
That giggle, though, at the end.
I mean, that's typical Jing, right? That's the Jing we all know and love. He's actually looking for a team. I don't think he specified PC or console.
Okay. So, any team out there, as we do have yoyoabc trying to engage a little bit too late on the mark, though. Eager secure themselves the Fire Giant, but now Yo-Yo gonna get knocked up by the Typhoon and pulled back in. Heart Bomb should be able to confirm the kill as it does stun. Meanwhile, Dwurst finding Shame under the walls as Shame is forced to use Purification, jumping away. Gonna get slowed out.
I love how Eager are not afraid to fight as different units, right? You've got, like, they're split up 2 and 2 and 3 and 3, and they're able to just find these fights that they're able to take advantage of and to put their pedal to the metal. So that's what we're seeing from Eager with the fight in the mid lane and the fight on the right side.
Jellly taking a lot of poke from that root crush, so he has to be very cautious. Now the rest of Eager are able to take away the second Phoenix from Noble, and this is going to be a very difficult hold now. There's a lot of relics being down. Monster connects onto AirCougar, but the Soul Eater does proc currently, so going to be able to sustain himself a little bit further as Scylla gets knocked up into the air, forces the Sentinel away. Third Phoenix does fall. Eager going to be trying to take away the second game from Noble.
So we're coming right over here. Looks like Eager able to push in here. This could be the final push in, Totally. All the Phoenixes are down, and the Titans down very quickly. So much damage coming out of Team Eager, and that'll do it, folks. Just shy of 40 minutes on the clock. Team Eager wind up toppling Noble Esports, despite 2 fantastic games from the lower card.
Even though Noble does fall here today, they still progressed very well from the last time that they played against Eager. They won against Soar, and they brought these games to a very long time.
Right.
Compared to the last time they played these 2 games, their first set was 18 minutes and 27.
I'm so excited that we do have the league structure available, because we just see these players. They get to plan and they get to excel against an expected outcome, right? And that's how you really get to improve. All right, we've got 2 games this week, and we're going to prepare for it, etc. Love to hear about that, and to talk a little bit about the preparation. We've got Jellly. He's normally the support player, but today we found him in the jungle. How's it going, buddy? How you been?
How's it going, guys? I've done, and Totally, how you guys doing?
I'm
Good,
doing well,
good.
man. Glad to hear your voice. Been
Happy
a while.
America Day.
How's everything with you?
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Hell yeah.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good, glad to hear it. Now I've spoken a little bit about it, so I wanna hear your take on it. When you're doing, like, you had the MLG League before and various different events here and there. Talk to me about what fun it is, or how it helps your team and other teams when you come into something like the SCL.
Well, it's good having that preparation, like with the MLG Pro League, and I think we're the most experienced team. Went to 4 LANs over the fall, which is like as much as PC teams go to. So going into the SCL, we're pretty confident with that experience behind us, and picking up 2 new players that also have experience in the Pro League itself with Mifflin and Delta Marine.
Excellent.
So compared to the first time you guys played against Noble, did they catch you a little bit off guard in this second set today?
Well, after they beat Soar, I was a little scared, because Soar 2-0'd us at the beginning of the season. So when I was watching their games when they beat Soar, and Super-O in the mid lane, he played Chunga both games, and so we all thought he was going to play Chunga, but none of us really have any idea how to play against Chunga in competitive. So we just picked regular teams and kind of got lucky that they didn't pick it. So also I kind of got lucky too, because Susano's really my only jungler, and they gave it to me both games because I play support.
Well, it worked out. It definitely worked out. Are we going to see Jellly? Are you the new jungler now?
No. Mifflin's way better than me.
You got any questions before we let him go, Totally?
Yeah, so your next opponent is going to be Most Wanted. You haven't faced them this split. Are you a little worried against this team?
Well, obviously, we consider them to be our main competitor right now. They're 8-0. I think that's what their rating is right now in the league. So, yeah, we're looking for some good games against them, some pretty good competition.
Excellent. Well, you guys have looked fantastic. I love the way you were able to step in the jungle. Congratulations on winning a game out of position. Before we let you go, Jellly, is there anything you'd like to say to the fans, sponsors, etc. at home?
Yeah, man. I'd like to shout out to Eager. They've been great to us. Also, to the Xbox Smite community. They've been great for the past year. And also Wiggles in the support role.
Wiggles the bag.
gustavY. Yeah, he subbed in for us, and he did really well. So I appreciate that going out to him.
Hell yeah, thank you very much. That is Jellly, the temporary jungler just for this week, normally in the support role over on Eager. Fantastic stuff coming out for the SCL. Don't forget, guys, this Wednesday, we're going to release all the details, or at least most of them, on the fall split. You see 400% more lands. It's going to be incredible. You want to find out more of the details, again, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Atlanta time, on twitch.tv/hi-rez TV. That's right here. So make sure to tune in and catch it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful and a safe 4th of July. And on behalf of myself, Anatoly, all the commentators, everybody behind the scenes, and of course, Becky's, we love you, and we'll see you later.